hardcore thing is that there is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thick. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers, and that's how we're mentioned in the documents. That religion was specifically created so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers.
You know, in fact, you can have, out-of-body experiences induced artificially. And I learned that from the Air Force General.
Oh.
Yeah. By overdoing centrifuge.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get into G-lock, right, at about 7.5 with no other apparatus, and you're trying to hold your breath and breathe before passing out. So we had videos that he would show us, and around 7.2 or 3, boom, their heads nodding, down they go. Yeah. They're sitting in a centrifuge. So his personal experience was that he had an out-of-body experience he couldn't explain. That particular day, he did 12. They now have rules where you can't do more than 3, is what I recall him saying. But he had done 12. He gets out of the capsule, the centrifuge, and he's not in his body anymore. His body is still in the process of getting out and stepping onto the platform, but he's up above his body and he's watching himself walk down the hallway. He's aware of what's going on in rooms alongside this hallway. He's aware of people. He's hearing conversations and so forth, but he shouldn't be able to hear. He has an awareness that's not a normal human awareness because of this out-of-body experience. And it's not because he almost died. This is artificially induced. He goes all the way down to the end of the hallway where his office is, opens the door, and his body opens the door. He goes right through the walls. Okay, he's up in the ceiling, and the body opens the door, closes it, the body walks around to his desk, and as soon as the body sat in the chair, he slammed into his body. He came back into his body. His consciousness did. So that's one example, one way I know of where you can artificially induce out-of-body experiences without using drugs.
Unravel the truth on the moon. The moon is an artificial satellite that originated in another solar system. It was moved here thousands of years ago using elite technology known as tractor beams. According to an employee that worked at the top secret Air Force base known as Douglas, it's not even a moon, it's a station. It was moved here several thousand years ago from another sector of the galaxy. Let me ask you, what do all bodies in the solar system have in common? They all rotate. But the moon? It doesn't seem to rotate at all. According to Max Spires, a man who was for speaking about these sort of things, said, "The moon is a trap designed for your soul. When you die, your memories are wiped, and you are sent back down here." He died right after he said that. Have you ever heard the phrase, "The moon is a soul catcher"? When it is your time and you are crossing over, do not walk towards the light. Instead, turn around and stay.
Living in a Masonic matrix. There are people who want us to believe what they say reality is. And if you start thinking on your own, they will drop a hammer on you really fast if you start thinking outside of the box. And that's what happens when people start using their brain and say, I don't believe that's real. I don't believe that's the way it is. Because you're outside of the box. They've created a narrative for everybody to believe. When you start saying, that's not true, that didn't happen, or it happened this way, then They have to come after you. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a tinfoil hat wearer. You're a domestic terrorist. You're something to frighten you, to intimidate you, to get back into the Matrix. That's how they're controlling the world.
There has been a global brainwashing operation in effect and ongoing for decades. Mainstream advertisers, sports, movies, music videos, I mean, the full list of it. And what we don't know are what are the long-term effects of that? What happens when people wake up and completely reject everything that they've been brainwashed to believe? What happens to the person? What happens to their sanity?
I don't know, but I think we're about to find out.
Not for the last couple of weeks, but for thousands of years. And that, back to the Romans again. Their minds were controlled. And it's hard for us to accept that somebody's controlled my mind. And particularly, now this is extremely important, particularly because the brilliant PhDs in all technical fields, these people are the most important for everything that we need in science. But their minds have been controlled. So they won't listen to what some of the rest of us are talking about, because they know everything, but what they've been taught in those books at the university is all lies. Every technical field, it's all lies, it's incorrect. And it's preventing people that put in the 8 years or whatever, knowing everything now, to accept this subject. That's the reason Congress didn't accept it. When the MUFON went back to Congress, the Democrats and the Republicans, neither one of them, their heads were all nodding up and down, yeah. 10 minutes later, it was removed because they were already programmed. Their minds were programmed not to accept that. Now, I know this sounds insane, but this is fact. This is what it is.